What's up, brothers? In today's video, we are gonna go over the PANDA controller. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about it already. A new GameCube controller on the way, and a lot of people are very excited. Check this out. The PANDA controller on Kickstarter. This has been up for 30 hours maybe, the Kickstarter, if even that. $763,000 approximately in 30 hours. Almost 6,000 backers. And 28 days to go. So that's pretty insane, pretty crazy. I figured we can check out the video first and then read a lot of the info in the Kickstarter, and I'll give my first impressions pretty much. I think one of the most crucial things will be exactly how the control stick feels. It looks super similar to a GameCube control stick. I'm not sure if it's like what is different, if anything. Yeah, first impression is looking this video is like customization, which is good because, you know, all people, they have their own preferences in terms of like how a controller should be. I wouldn't really say there is such a thing as like a perfect controller for everyone. It's like depending on the player as well. All right. So that was the video. Let's check out some info here on the Kickstarter as well. All right, so stretch goals. So we are already at, we said 763K roughly. So yeah, that's a lot of goals already. Include the weight pack as the default expansion pack in every PANDA controller. So yeah, that's met. The USB-C to USB and USB-C to GameCube cables included. So, I mean, that's good. 300,000, a new full GameCube color pack voted in by backers. I think that's cool, given, you know, people have supported the project. A little bit of an impact. Will be available for purchase after closing with a Kickstarter exclusive discount. Includes a full colored set of GameCube shells, gates, buttons, and sticks. Nice. $350,000, 6-month limited repair warranty. I mean, I guess if they are gonna be like as high quality as I'm hoping, I don't think too many people would use this, but I mean, for safety, also good. 500,000, open an accessory store after Kickstarter closed for everyone to buy individual parts, also amazing. As we said, even if one controller might appear perfect for you, it might not be perfect for me or your best friend or, you know, whoever else it might be. We all have our own preferences, right? So individual parts, amazing. 600K, firmware updates to include full button remapping, switching what buttons do what from the controller end. Pod and notch calibration. I mean, I think this is good as well. I'm not really sure what exact stands will be on all of these. Because if we look, wait, do we have a picture of the controller? I mean, you don't see it on this picture, but like 2 C buttons, I know that was already a discussion on Twitter. Should that be allowed, or should it be that only 1 C button can work? So you basically have to like make one of them not work, since that's how an original GameCube controller works, right? So I mean, I guess some discussions regarding this controller will come up when it comes to like what's legal, what's not, and so on. But I mean, not every, even if this is aimed towards, you know, the competitive scene, if this is very successful, probably a lot of people that don't even play competitively would buy it, I imagine. Because GameCube controllers are not even like produced any longer, which is weird because like on Switch you have multiple games where you can play with a GameCube controller, and a lot of people that play Ultimate prefers the GameCube controller. Of course, not everyone, but a lot of people do. So I could see this reach out to like way beyond just the Smash scene. 700K, partner with community artists for limited edition shell lines after fulfillment. Also cool, pretty much, you know, giving even more back to the scene. I mean, this project alone is giving a lot to the community, don't get me wrong, but I think it's cool to team up, you know? Teams, 800k, 1 year limited repair. Okay, so this was like the 350 goal, but double the time. Not reached yet, but I mean, it will be reached. Yeah, it's already like 764 now, and we started talking about this a few minutes ago. PANDA controller is the next evolution of the 20-year-old GameCube controller that is still used today. I mean, it is the best controller. Highest quality parts, ready for competitive play. We have a pro team after all. Out of the box and powerful customizations, features that let you form this controller to your hands. Now, let's get into the core features with our CEO, Dr. Allen. If you're interested in technical breakdown with the advanced feature, catch that video below. Let's play it.
Developed 20 years ago for the Nintendo GameCube, it is still the weapon of choice for many serious gamers around the world, especially those who play platform fighters. Today, the only GameCube controllers available are ones that have new, inferior parts. So players have to hunt down and get lucky to find a GameCube controller that has all the right parts and that feels good to them, often paying more than $200 or $300 for the best ones. Other controllers like the DualShock or the Xbox controller have been updated and revised over the years. Tragically, this one has never had a modern revision until today.
Yeah, I'll already say, like, even if you're not looking for like a perfect controller, since we talked about earlier, GameCube controllers are not even produced any longer, right? Just coming by GameCube controllers, period. Like, even if you're not looking for a perfect controller, but you're looking for a solid controller, right? It's still a hassle. And buying controllers on, eBay or, equivalents to eBay in whatever country you're in, that comes with a huge risk as well. Sometimes the controllers are honestly straight up awful. So even if you're not even looking for the best controller possible, it can still be extremely annoying. So yeah, this could end. This could and should end that hassle. So that alone makes me happy. So this shows, yeah, this is like,
controllers base.
Okay. I think we can start from here. The rest was like what we already saw earlier.
The PANDA controller. Using the GameCube controller as a base, we set out to take it to the next level, to evolve it and modernize it. We had input from pro players, modders, and casual players alike to make what we believe is the ultimate controller no matter what level of play you're at. And with 4 patents pending, we definitely set a new standard for competitive gaming. Now I'll break down the controller features for you. There are some advanced features that I'm not going to get into here, but check out the technical video breakdown below or the FAQ for more information. The controls across the board were made for top-level play. We took the best sticks that were ever made and figured out how to make them even better. We made our own stick, and this is the most accurate and durable stick that you'll be able to find in the market today. We enlarged and remade the D-pad with tactile switches. Smooth face buttons allow you to move from one button to the next seamlessly and faster than ever before. Onto the shoulder buttons. As you can see, the controller has 4 shoulder buttons like modern controllers. The Z buttons were also remade for a much smoother feel. We're also introducing 2 new buttons. The removable back buttons were placed in a position that's natural for your hands, and they're mapped to X and Y. This isn't a wireless controller by default, but you can unplug the wire for easier storage. It comes with 2 different wires, one at the USB end and one at the GameCube end. There's also a unique optional locking mechanism, so you never have to worry about your controller unplugging until you want it to. The next feature...
Yeah, seems like they've been thinking about a lot so far. I'm always like, when it's something that is not exactly the same, I'm curious exactly how, the buttons, the control stick, how everything feels. I was always a person that was extremely sensitive to even the smallest of differences. But I mean, of course, like if the product, if the control stick, the buttons, if everything works as intended, even if it is slightly different feel, it's not something that's impossible to like overcome. And I say that as someone that is like extremely sensitive towards these type of things.
Is the expansion pack. Yes, that's right, we brought it back. This is the weight pack. If we hit our first stretch goal, we'll be able to include this on every controller that allows you to customize the weight to make it as heavy or as light as you like. Sold separately,
also good from an ergonomic standpoint.
This pack will allow you to connect to the Switch or the PC. You may have noticed that the shoulders have a little lip on them. That's because Using this little dial, you can actually control how high or how low you want your shoulder button, as high as the stock controller and as low as a single button press. The way you turn the dial is with this tool. This tool...
Yeah, I mean, the shoulder button, that's the same thing, ergonomical. A lot of people have like removed the springers in their shoulder buttons, so it's like easier to press, because it's a lot of like clicking on the shoulder buttons in Smash, especially in Melee, with like L cancel, wave dash, and so on. So that's good that you give players the option to decrease the force needed to press the button. I'm not really sure if that's the best way of saying it, but you guys understand what I mean.
Tool is all you need to take apart this entire controller. Speaking of taking the controller apart, you may notice there are no screw holes on this whole thing. Well, that's because the shells are magnetically attached. You'll be able to very easily and quickly customize the face of your controller. Now, there are a lot of advanced features on the inside of the controller that I'm not going to get into, but this here we call the button mask. If you remove it, you can customize the buttons very easily. Now, it isn't just the front shell that can be removed. You can also remove the back shell. And when you do, there are a lot of cool customization features that are available to you. And when you put the shell back on, it doesn't have to be the same shape. This is a regular PANDA controller GameCube shell. This is the PANDA Controller Pro shell. Changing the shape of the grip allows for more wide grips and much more comfortable grips for a lot of players, and is based off of the Pro controller. And changing the shape of your controller is as easy.
Yeah, I mean, I never played with the Pro controller for Smash. I mean, even when Ultimate came out, I was so used to the GameCube controller that I never played with it. But I will say that the Switch Pro controller is probably my second favorite controller of all time. So having one of these shapes as well, I mean, I think it's wonderful. And of course, a lot of people play with the Pro controller in Ultimate. But yeah, the Switch Pro controller in general is really good. So I mean, I think it's good that they give people, like the players, multiple options here as well.
And snapping on the front and snapping on the back. Another cool feature about this controller is that it's future-proof. We actually have firmware with a memory chip on the controller, so we can update it whenever we want. We want to make a controller that isn't elite or pro just in name. We want our actual pros, like the ones on our roster, to use it. And we want a controller that bolsters the amazing modern artist community that has grown around the GameCube controller. We want to make a controller for everyone.
I mean, it sounds very promising. This might be the product we have been waiting for a long time. I mean, speaking of it, I actually need a new GameCube controller myself when I do play Smash or, other games where GameCube controller is my preferred option. So I will absolutely give this a chance. It looks amazing. Cute little travel case. The weight pack was talked about as well. Yeah, we can check the technical breakdown as well.
Hey guys, I'm Matt. I'm the president and lead engineer of Panda Hardware. There are a lot of little details in this controller that we haven't gotten a chance to explain yet. I'm really excited to show them off for you. We reverse engineered the T3 stick box, which is what many modders think is one of the best stick boxes out there. On top of redesigning it, we modernized features to make it our own, including adding a tactile click. The Panda stick box will be compatible with all T3 motherboards as well as our own controller. It will also be available for purchase separately from the controller. In addition to enlarging the D-pad and adding tactile switches, we've made it so it's much easier to make circular motions by putting...
I will say that D-pad was like the worst part of the GameCube controller.
For a recommendation to us from modders, allowing people to get the fastest movement between button presses as possible. For our ZL and ZR buttons, we've redesigned them so that they have rubber pads, so for a more comfortable feel when you press it. Additionally, in GameCube mode, both of them are matched to the Z button. When you plug in via USB, it's detected as a program.
Yeah, that's the C button thing that a lot of people talked about on Twitter already.
By default are mapped to X and Y. If you'd like to, you can remove the two buttons, and in their place, you can put in two plugs that come with the controller. Now, let's get to customization features. We decided to bring back the expansion pack, and with that, our first expansion pack will be a weight pack, allowing you to change the weight of the controller to your desire. Down the line, we're planning on adding other expansion packs, the first of which may be an audio pack. Included under the expansion pack bay is an M3 Allen wrench. This is the only tool you need to take the controller completely apart. It's magnetically held in place, and it doesn't only take apart the controller, it can also be used to adjust your triggers as well as to change the trigger modes on the dials on the inside. You can customize the height of your trigger with 16 different settings using that Allen wrench.
Yeah,
Now,
I know a lot of people
you'll need to
didn't feel
calibrate
like
controllers
too
so
comfortable with like, you know, modding and changing their own controllers. So I mean, it just seems so much more simple here. So that's also a huge plus.
you can still hit every single analog value. To do that, we've added a calibration button right here. This calibration button is also used for the sticks. If you have a different gate or you remove and change your gate, you can calibrate your stick for alignment and to allow you to have 1.0 cardinal inputs. Speaking of gates, these
Yeah,
gates
that's also a thing. Like, I don't know. I know it was a debate quite some time ago. Maybe it still is. But basically, when you press the control stick, like let's say to the right, and you get different values when you do that. And some controllers give different values, but the 1.0, like the best possible value, if you press to the right or left, was, as far as I remember, pretty much never achieved by GameCube controllers. I mean, it was like the golden rare ones maybe, but that small little degree difference actually can make the difference sometimes if a move will connect or not. So like, since you basically have a higher degree you can DI, sometimes your opponent can't follow up. But if you go down like just, you know, a degree or two, then maybe you would connect. So that's possibly like, I don't know. I don't know if a verdict on that ever actually came. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's for the best. I guess it's for the best to just include it, but I'm not sure what the community will say.
the front shell. They've been made separately so that if notchers want to notch a gate, they can be removed easily and that you don't have to sacrifice a whole shell in prototyping a notch. Let's talk about other features on the inside of the controller. You'll notice there are some other screws other than the ones that hold in the gates. These 3 screws are used to remove the button mask. This button mask holds in the A, B, X, Y, home, plus, minus, and capture buttons. If you remove the mask, you can take the buttons out and easily swap them. You'll also notice that there are 2 buttons down on the handles. One is for dampening the snapback in the X direction on your left stick. The other is for the Y. The way that we're dampening snapback is by emulating a capacitor, which is what people typically do for a snapback mod. When we press the button, we'll have multiple LEDs that light up, allowing you to select different amount of capacitance that is being sent through your stick. Actually, that capacitor goes to your potentiometer. Speaking of potentiometers, ours are made by Noble. Now, let's get to the features on the back. First, you'll notice that there are 3 large sections up here in green. Those are all removable. The first is a cover for the motor. You can easily pop out your rumble motor now without cutting the wire. This bracket holds it in. The 2 green sections on the sides are trigger mounting plates. You can easily add this bracket for the motor. You can easily pop out your rumble motor now without cutting the wire.
Yeah.
The 2
I'm a person that likes rumble. I hope the rumble feel emulates how it feels on a GameCube controller.
Mechanism from here. As I said before,
actually, like, even on GameCube controllers, this might sound weird, but some GameCube controllers actually have like a slightly stronger feel on the rumble, and some of them have less. I guess most of the time it's correlated to how much you have actually used your controller, but like, I've had some GameCube controllers and eventually the rumble gets like so weak that it almost feels like you're not having rumble on. And as a person that likes having rumble on, I hope the rumble feel is a bit on the stronger side, personally. I know using rumble is extremely, or at least used to be, extremely rare in North America. And honestly, even most of Europe. I feel like it was mainly like in Sweden, where it was fairly common to use rumble. But yeah, I guess we'll see how that part ends up. But I hope the rumble feel can be pretty strong. At least that's something I would like.
Back buttons are removable. With the back shell off, you can simply pop them out or pop them back in. Some players told us that they accidentally hit the D-pad while they're moving the stick occasionally. Because of that, we added a D-pad on-off switch so you don't accidentally taunt. If you like the weight of the motor, but you don't like the rumble feature, you can also
I can already see someone accidentally taunting, you know, and not, you know, pressing this button prior and then go on a Twitter rant. I can see it.
button. There are also 2 dials in the handles. These allow you to control each of your triggers individually. They allow you to switch it between analog and digital, just analog, or just digital. This will allow you to have hard shield and light shield on 2 different triggers, or whatever combination you want. Besides just having a GameCube style shell, we decided to add a different style as well.
Yeah, some people actually use this trick. I've done it myself. I actually do it myself when I play Smash. So basically, like, so if you hold in the shoulder button a tiny bit versus the entire way, right? So if you hold in a little bit, you light shield, and then fully in a regular shield. So basically what I was doing to increase consistency and power shield was basically remove light shield on one of my buttons. So I shielded normally on one, and then on the other button I removed light shield in order to power shield a bit more efficiently. So basically shielded normally with one button, but if I intentionally was going for a power shield, I pressed the other shoulder button.
Which we call our Pro Shell. It holds your wrists in a much more comfortable position, which will allow you to play for a lot longer. Now, it's not just limited to these 2 shapes. As long as it fits with our magnetic harness system, any shape is possible. We don't want to just throw this controller out into the wild and not support it. So we've made it so you can download firmware updates on your own. This gives us the ability to add things down the line that the community might want, like POD emulation, button remapping, and notch calibration. We're not planning on implementing these features at launch. We want to make sure that everything we add to this is tournament legal.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I mean, they clearly have talked to a lot of people knowledgeable about controllers. Because I can't really think of a single thing that is like, oh, like this is missing. How did they not think of this? Maybe there is something, but nothing crosses my mind. It seems like they have really gone out of their way to make sure of thinking about every possible future. But yeah, seems like late 2022 is like when we can expect these controllers, pretty much around that timeline at least. But yeah, I think we're gonna wrap it up there. We've seen a lot regarding the controller. We've seen that the Kickstarter is going very well. I will make sure to support it myself, and also it jumped up to 767 now, almost 768. So keeps climbing strong. Extremely excited to test this controller out. Controller issues have been an annoying portion of Smash history. So hopefully with this one, we have a long-term solution that works for everyone. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.